and he'd take a couple of papers. I cut through there and I go over in behind the Parrot over in North Arizona, and Court Street back in there. You know, there was houses back in there in them days. And Arizona Street, that whole block had houses behind the brewery. You know, they were all houses. Then I go straight up Anaconda Road, clean up to the Highway. Took them places up there at the Highway, come back down into Toboggan Avenue, Dublin Gulch, and I finished in Dublin Gulch there.
Do you remember some of the families that you?
Yeah, I knew the Dennehy's, the Lees, and Olsons, and I can't think of them all. I knew a lot of them.
Yeah.
Kids, I knew them kids, you know. Played ball and all. I knew all the Gulch. And the last house I took was McHugh's. I have forgotten, but it wasn't many years ago. I knew I could name you most all of them, but I can't name all.
Yeah. So how many papers did you deliver on a day?
Oh, maybe 60.
60?
Guessing, I forgot.
And how would they pay you?
You got about $15 a month.
Yeah.
17 maybe, some, depend on the route. 17 was about the most you got.
And you just delivered in the morning?
Yeah.
And then what, you got paid every month?
Every month.
And so what did you do with your money?
Oh, probably bought pop or something. I bought something. It was gone. I never saved any money.
Yeah.
I had a route in the post too, in North Walkerville, Butchertown.
At the same time? So what was that route?
Yeah, oh, that was a long one. We were out in the Moondocks. I don't think I've forgotten, but I don't think I only had about 40 papers. I started at the Sherman School and went everything north and come back down to the middle of Walkerville, Daly and Maine. Then I took off east, up East Daly, clear over to the Badger, over to Corktown. Remember them houses over there?
Sure.
And then come back down Toboggan to the Lexington. That was a long one. The longest one in Butte. But I only had 30, 40 papers.
Do you remember the Green family up on Toboggan Avenue? Con Green and his family?
Yeah, I don't know if they were up there then.
Oh, it was probably before then, yeah.
Yeah, that was in 1927 or no, before that. Probably about 25, 26.
Yeah, they were still...
I was probably about 12 years old.
Yeah. When you were delivering papers?
I knew the Greens.
Now, how'd you know them? How'd you know the
I
Greens?
was born right across the alley from Mrs. Green, the old lady.
Do you remember her?
Oh, when I was a kid, I remember her.
What was she like? She was a widow, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was kind of a sick woman, and she lost a son at the coal yard, you know.
What happened when...
he got shot, and watchman killed him. People used to be hard up in them days. They needed some coal, they got some. He went to get a few chunks of coal, and the watchman killed him.
Huh.
Put her bad.
Did it? She never recovered from that, or?
Not all.
She was pretty close to him.
Yeah, I remember her well. She always, I lived there 5 years. I was 5 years old when I left her.
Yeah.
Her house was just across the alley on
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
See? And it's a narrow country in there, you know.
Yeah.
I remember her, and I remember Connie Green. And he's the one that lived in Walkerville.
Yeah. Well, what do you remember of them? What do you remember of that family? What were some of your memories of that family?
Oh,
as neighbors.
They were good neighbors, and I never heard of any trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never heard of any of the people having trouble over there.
They just all worked, huh?
Yeah, they all got along. There might have been some arguments, I don't know. My family got along, and as far as nationalities, there were my uncle. There he is there.
Let's see.
He drunk all the time.
He was drunk all the time.
Sure. He talked like he came from Ireland.
But he was Cornish, huh?
Yeah,
What was his name?
Jack. They call him, you know what the Irish call him?
What?
Shawn Moore. Ryan, that's an Irish name.
That must be Barnacote Flats behind him.
Yeah,
And so that head frame would be the mountain con then, huh?
yeah.
Is that trail the trail that would go down into some?
Yeah, there was a trail going down. Well, you could go down there 3 or 4 different ways.
I see. Shawn Moore. Now, where would he go? What bar did he do his drinking at?
He used to drink in Horgan's and Crowley's. They were all Irish bars. They were there, Horgan's, Crowley's, and Twin Ryan. He drank wherever he gets there, but that's where he hung around all the time.
Well, now, when
He was born over there. He was born there. My people, like my grandparents and that, when they first came here, there were Irish all around them, you know. I never heard of them ever having any
Sure.
trouble at all. Where all the trouble was in the bars when they were drinking.
Well, now, tell me about the bars on Main Street. Now, Horgan's was right there by the wooden bridge, wasn't it?
Yeah, they tore that down.
Now, what was that like?
Then the next one, this street that comes across here,
Mm-hmm.
that was called the Halfway. Jack Crowley, he was a bootlegger, big bootlegger, and a good guy. Everybody liked him. He had that bar, and then there was one right above you, the fence of the mine, you know.
Uh-huh.
There on this side of Main Street,
Yeah.
called the
The Crystal?
Crystal. Yeah, or that. What was that called in them days? I have to think of it.
Did the bars have different personalities? I mean,
Oh,
were some tougher than others, or certain?
yeah. Well, they had fights in them days when they're drinking their moonshine, you know, but all of them did. Up here was no worse than anywhere else.
Yeah.
But they were all 3 of them bars were Irish, run by Irish. And the same in Centerville was one English bar in Centerville.
Which one was that?
I think it was the Klondike, I think they called it.
Did you hang out in any of them?
Huh?
Did you go to any of the bars?
Oh, I used to go in and rounding up that guy half the time for my grandmother. He drank from the time he got out of World War II, till he died.
Did he ever tell you about World War I?
Oh, they used to. There was about 20 of them that hung around the tank over there, see?
Uh-huh.
Corktown. They'd all come out of the World War I.
Uh-huh.
Skid Nolan, he used to put on a performance every once in a while. Jim Flynn, I can't think of all of them, a whole bunch of them. There was about a 5-foot square box, you know, if it came across it with steam pipes in from the high horse. That's where them guys did their drinking. They holed up in there. They had steam heat all the year round.
So it's kind of like a clubhouse for him.
Yeah.
Now, was that the overall gang?
Yeah. I never seen them ever. They used to have fights when drunks will get into once in a while, but I never seen them hurting, you know, being bad. Hell, I knew most all, and all treated me all right.
But now, was George Green part of that crew?
Who?
George Green, Mrs. Green's oldest son? He came back from the war.
I wouldn't know for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he was around that neighborhood, he was friends with them.
Yeah.